Can you turn
I'm
up
gonna
the
turn it up.
volume?
Yeah, give me one.
Hi, Miss
LRS
Melissa.
director. I know we've spoken on the phone before.
Yes.
Tell them who we're here with.
Yes.
Make sure
Can
they
you
know
hear
we're
us?
Yes, and
You're on mute, Dallas.
Oh, okay.
oh,
There we go.
okay, there we go. All right. I just want to let y'all know my mother and father are here in this call with me.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
Hi, Miguel.
Hello.
So Dallas, it looks
All
like
right.
Melissa, Jeannie, Kimberly, and you are
Oh,
here.
okay.
Hey.
Is there anybody that you don't know, Dallas, that you need introductions for?
Kimberly's your
I don't think so.
counselor,
Kimberly's
right?
my counselor. Yes.
Well, you have met Gabe before?
Yes.
Yeah, we've
Okay.
emailed and I think we've talked on the phone a couple times. So.
Oh, Gabriel.
Good,
Hi,
good, good.
Gabriel.
Hi,
Yeah.
Mr. Gabriel.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. Melissa, thank you so much for having this meeting with us so we can discuss what LRS's plans are. And I'm going to turn it over to Dallas because he's the man with the plan. So let's go, Dallas.
Okay. Yes, I just wanted to first start with one question. Miss Jeannie told me that y'all were proposing that we create our own apprenticeship, and I just wanted to ask LRS what type of apprenticeship y'all want me to help create.
So that's a good question, Dallas. This is Melissa. So I can't completely answer that question, but let me tell you why. So I think I had mentioned to you that we had been in communication with Operation Spark.
Yes.
And that particular company, when we met with them, we had asked them if they had similar types of apprenticeship opportunities, and he had mentioned that at one point Louisiana Works had some funding for apprenticeship. So when businesses wanted to engage in registered apprenticeship, there was actually some funding there from the state, but that funding is not there anymore. And so when I mentioned that LRS could be a funding source for apprenticeship, he said that they would definitely be interested in speaking to you to talk about what a good apprenticeship would look like for you with Operation Spark. So before I went any further, because at one point I know you had mentioned in an email that Operation Spark was off the table. So before I took up any more of their time, I just wanted to make sure or ask you if that's something that you were interested in before I engaged them any further in those types of discussions.
Well, I am not sure that I can provide the type of bridge for Operation Spark because the field I am currently trying to make my way into is the digital accessibility field. And I know from doing enough research on Operation Spark that accessibility isn't a main point of theirs. They touch on it, but it's nothing. It's not a main subject of any of their courses. And I do not have the education to provide to fill that gap. So I would like more education, more training in the accessibility field, so that I can. Because I told Miss Jeannie, I have actually thought about this before I even started talking to Miss Jeannie. I thought that once I am trained and experienced, I can expand accessibility and improve it around the U.S. and of course my home. I want to start in Louisiana and make apprenticeships more available and more widespread than they currently are.
So thank you for that, Dallas. So, and I'm going to be the first one to tell you this is not my background. And so when I have conversations about it, I completely understand that I might use the wrong words and I may not know what I'm talking about. But I know when we met with Operation Spark, what they kind of explained to me is that, and this is first part I know. So now there's a legal requirement for websites to be accessible. So although they might not use the terms that, or say that their courses are for accessibility, the way they build websites is in compliance with the accessibility laws. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So even though they're not saying the word accessible, that is what they are teaching, and that is what they do. They just don't specify that it's for accessibility because that's just a normal part now of how you build websites. That's how it was explained to me.
Okay.
And I can,
Melissa, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry.
Let me just go a little bit further for just a second before I lose my train of thought. So I know that now this is after you would have to have a lot of for a job that I'm about to explain, you probably have to have a lot of experience.
Make
and
sure
I
you
don't even
clarify
know
to them the difference,
a lot
okay,
of these
son?
jobs are even
difference in
available.
What
But at the
accessible means,
federal
Yeah.
level, I
retrofitting.
know
Yeah.
that there
That's what
are
you want.
jobs, because we actually engaged with someone from the U.S. Department of Education, the Office of Civil Rights, over our website several years ago. And so their job was to test for accessibility on websites, but that's a job that you kind of grow into, and those are few and far between. There are not a lot of jobs where people are actually, I don't know how to say it, regulating that part of that field, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And Jeannie, I didn't know if Jeannie had
Oh,
something.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Lose your train of thought.
No, y'all continue. I'm writing down my stuff. I'll get to it later. Y'all continue.
Okay. Yes. And like you were saying, Miss Melissa, making there's a difference between checking the boxes to make it compliant and making it usable for accessibility wise, because that's a hazy difference right there. When people say we've checked all the boxes for accessibility, that doesn't mean it's usable. And their curriculum, as it could be technically accessibility friendly, or no, not friendly, compliant, accessibility compliant. It's not focused about accessibility. That's the difference. And the jobs you were talking about, the jobs, I have found them on LinkedIn, and those are the multiple jobs I have applied for. Many jobs I have applied for on LinkedIn, that the missing qualifications, the classroom, the technical skills, and then the most common qualification I'm missing is experience. And most applications say 2 years experience, and that's the difference between those two things.
So let me ask you, Dallas, because I don't know the answer to this. So when they say that you're missing the education that's required in these job postings, what education is that?
The technical skills, auditing, like you were saying, the with the did you say it was a federal department audited the website?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
That you should be able to audit the websites to check for accessibility compliance, and then also developing, writing the code. That's actually part of auditing. It's being able to understand and create the code for the websites to be compliant.
Okay.
And so I'm pretty sure the writing of the code is definitely something that Operation Spark does. But when you, and Dallas, this is just because I don't know what I'm talking about. So on the applications, or I'm sorry, on the job postings, like usually it tells you what, like you need, what degree you need, or what, like, so what is it saying that you need training in auditing? Like, I'm just trying to figure out what
Well,
that looks
many of them, computer science is a first listing, which that is not something I have, but there are substitutions that are professionally recognized that can, I wouldn't say equate, but be enough to replace computer science. I have a few listings here. My mother has them. If you want to go over them.
Yeah, I mean, I can read some of the. So this is something that Dallas has done extensive research on, and I did print I have a stack of job postings from is it Indeed and LinkedIn that actually are actively looking for assistive technology professionals. There's anything from auditors and testers to people to build, because nowadays in accessibility, Melissa, they don't like you. Dallas taught me this. I wouldn't know this if it wasn't for him. They don't like you to retrofit. Right? A website. Like they built the website and then they have to turn around and go back and retrofit it for accessibility. That is the worst thing you could possibly do. He wants
It's
to add
much harder to retrofit something that already exists and shove accessibility in as an addition instead of just building it from the ground up.
Right.
They call it accessibility born from the beginning, including accessibility.
Yeah. So what you said, that is like the thing you shouldn't want to do is what we had to do when the Department of Education came in.
Yes.
Right. You want to build them from the ground up.
Exactly. Yes.
So building them from the ground up, you were an expert on these, like the WAS the certification, which is the big mamma jamma, right? That's what ultimately you're trying to get to.
I currently have the Certified Professional in Accessibility Core Competencies. For the accessibility field, digital accessibility field, that is the first stamp that should be on your resume. And I do already have that. But to get into the professional field in the jobs like my mother just discussed, you're not professionally recognized unless you have coding experience and one credential from the International Association of Accessibility Professionals. That's what I got the CPACC from, is the Web Accessibility Specialist. That is, they don't allow you to take that test unless you have 2 to 3 years experience in the field of developing websites accessibly. And that is something that those jobs are going to look for on your application. That kind of credential.
And if you need us to be more specific, I can definitely do that, Melissa, because it is very specific for the training.
Right. And so just so you know, what I'm trying to figure out is how to get you that training, because I don't know the answer to that. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I'm guessing you don't want to go get a computer science degree. It doesn't sound like that's what you want to do.
That wouldn't help anyway. He would still have to have the certification.
Yeah, that's true. The certification is the first thing. The second thing is computer science degrees in universities and everything don't focus accessibility. It's more general. Like Operation Spark, you said, they do have a widespread umbrella kind of service, but accessibility needs to be the focus for my education and my training.
So, and I was listening to you, but I kind of got lost. Meaning, you mentioned a lot of different certifications that I'm not familiar with. So you said you do have them all, or there's one that you're missing?
There are two. I have the first one, which is the fundamental stamp for someone in digital accessibility. You need to have this stamp, which is the Certified Professional in Accessibility Core Competencies, or the CPACC. And I do have that one.
Okay.
The next one is the WAS, the Web Accessibility Specialist. That is the certification that is professionally recognized. If you have that, they go, okay, yes, this guy is qualified for the job. He knows what he's doing. And
you have that one?
No, I do not. No. I do not have that one. That is the certification that you need. First, you need to know how to develop websites and the code. And second, they don't even allow you to take that test until you have 2 to 3 years experience already on the job developing websites.
So, and maybe I'm making this too simple, but it sounds like, so the first step you need is to find employment developing websites so that you can get the experience that you need to be able to get this WAS certification? I'm asking.
Yes, we need to rewind a little bit more because before I can do that, I need to know how to develop those websites because I can't do that job unless I know how to. And the classroom training to teach me how to do that first is what I need. I need more education in order to do that. And then, like I was saying before, something that I thought before I even started talking to Miss Jeannie, I thought that after I get that classroom training and get the experience in the field, then I can create more apprenticeships starting in Louisiana.
So it sounds like you've done a lot of research.
I have.
Where do you get the training that you think that you believe you need for that includes all the accessibility features? Where do you get that training from?
Yes, the only place that I've been able to find is Helix Opportunity for the web development training. That is the case.
There's got to be another place.
Okay.
I don't know how to figure that out.
So before we waste any time with that, because I know that's kind of what's up, like the contention here, right? The reason Helix, there's the reason that is the only thing for Dallas is because it is the program that he has built is number one. It's the first one in the world. It's one of a kind. It is accessible for him to study from because he's blind. That we have tried. He has done countless hours of research because it's not about Helix, and he does. It's not that. This is what he needs. So how does he get there? And the only place that we've been able to find, doing all this research, that is accessible for Dallas. So the accessibility part is great, but in order for him to complete the program, it's got to be blind accessible, and his program is blind accessible. There was one other.
The Blind Institute of Technology also offers something similar, but it's not web accessibility. It's Salesforce. They teach their students how to manage it. Salesforce administration is the number one. What do they call it? The flagship service, or not the flagship job that they put their students into. They manage Salesforce websites and Salesforce technology, but it's not the same thing as the stuff Helix Opportunity teaches.
Okay.
And Melissa, Darren and I have both done a lot of research. In fact, when Darren was still lead on the case, we had come to you to talk about, creation and things along those lines months ago. And the two that we found were the Helix and the other that Dallas just spoke about. And Helix has the classroom building from the bottom up. And I know that, like Mom said, Helix is really not the topic of conversation. That one thing that Dallas has told me, if I had another option, I would look at the other option. But at this point, through my research, Darren's research, Dallas's research, we can't find anything else. So the creation of one in Louisiana would be a great idea, and Dallas really wants to be a part of that. He wants to be on that groundbreaking, let's bring this stuff to Louisiana, and I want to be a part of that because he's an advocate more than anything for himself, but he's also an advocate for others, and he wants to be on the forefront of that. He just wants to go get that information and bring it back. And if we could come up with that program in Louisiana, Dallas being the spearhead for it, that Dallas is, on board with that. But how do we develop that when there's only one that we know of?
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, Dallas, you probably know better than I do because you were in the meeting with the secretary of the department with Helix from my understanding of that conversation, that is completely off the table with Louisiana Works. But in my conversations with Operation Spark, they're willing to talk to you to see what it is that you need, to see if they can provide that to you. So that's the only company that I am aware of that is even in the ballpark that would, potentially be able to build something for you.
So
The
go
the
ahead.
difference is it's not comparable to Helix Opportunity because yes, I understand Operation Spark has great ties to corporations and stuff like that. It's just Helix Opportunity has such an extensive connection to the accessibility field and corporations who want to be part of improving accessibility and making their websites accessible. It's they don't have the same connections as Helix Opportunity, and that's the difference right there. And also too, the programs I use, they're called Integrated Development Environments, or IDEs. That is what I type code in and what I use to develop the websites. And the IDEs at Operation Spark, I can't say they're inaccessible, but they're not confirmed to be accessible. And I don't know if it's going to be something that works for me.
Well,
While Helix Opportunity does, they have built their curriculum to be accessible. Mr. David Fazio built his organization for people with disabilities.
So since Helix is not an option, are you willing to at least have a conversation with Operation Spark?
yeah.
Can I, of course, but can I ask why Helix is not an option?
They are not so. In order, I'm trying to see how to explain this. So, as the VR agency, we have certain, we can't we're the stewards of state and federal funds. So we have to have policies, procedures, internal controls to determine how we spend our money.
Yes.
Because it's your tax money. It's government funds. And so how we've done that with training programs is that because I'm trying to have a conversation with you about this, but I don't know anything about this particular field. So how does LRS determine which companies or which schools or training programs are viable? And so the way we do that is that any training program that we fund has to be approved by somebody. And what I mean by that is, if you're talking about universities, they're going to be accredited by the United States Department of Education. If you're talking about most technical trainings, most vocational type trainings of
approved by the U.S.
that
Department.
nature, they are
No.
going to be approved by the Louisiana Board of Regents. And so apprenticeship is approved by the Registered Apprenticeship Program here at Louisiana Works. They're in the same, we're all in the Office of Workforce Development, but the apprenticeship people, they're different people than me. And so they have an apprenticeship council. I don't know all their processes, but they approve registered apprenticeship programs for Louisiana. So Helix does not, it's not approved by anybody. It's not approved by the Board of Regents. It's not accredited by anyone.
Yeah.
And it's a registered apprenticeship. So the appropriate place where it would be approved would be from the Registered Apprenticeship Program here. And it was decided when looking at their application, they did not approve that program. And so as an unapproved program, we can't provide funding for that program because we're a government agency. We're with their government agency. We have to have some type of standard to determine where we use public funds. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand. But on your points there, I have to say that the Helix Opportunity Program is federally registered. It is approved by the Department of Labor, and it also is approved by the University of California, San Francisco. That is that they're the one of the corporate companies that works with them. So they are approved by accredited organizations. There is just not in Louisiana. It is approved by Nevada and California, but they haven't been able to move into Louisiana.
Yeah, it's a brand new
Right.
program. It's brand new. It's only a couple of years old, and it's the only one like it in the world. So I think that's part of the reason that, even Susanna told us on the phone call that she understands how difficult it is to get that type of program off the ground. So, that being that it's brand new and that Dallas's case is so unique and special, that there are little options when it comes to the training. And it's not because the training's not there, Melissa. The training is there. The problem is the training is not accessible for him because he's blind. He would need a human being standing next to him to complete some of these courses. If the program, the computer program that he is training on, is not blind accessible,
Screen reader
accessible
for the blind.
he cannot complete the course. So we understand that there are things like Operation Spark. He's done all his, I can go Quorum and what was the other? Scrimba, and we can go on and on and on about the different programs because he has done that much research, and I've just listened to him for the last 6 months. But none of it is screen reader accessible for a blind person to train, and that is what makes Helix such a huge opportunity for him. And at this point, basically his only option in order to build something like with Operation Spark. What are you talking about in time wise? It's already been 8 months.
We would have to talk to. I have no clue. We would have to talk to them about that. But I can't approve Helix.
Right. We know.
You went all the way to the top, which is fine. And there's nowhere else to go. And I can tell you, and I mean this genuinely, myself, my supervisor, who is Jessica Valalongo, and the secretary who you met with, Susie Showen, we are all for people. We are all for helping people succeed. There have been some red flags with this particular company, and if we genuinely thought that this was a reputable company where you would be successful, we would give you that opportunity, but we don't have that record. We have a record that says otherwise, to be honest. And so, I know it's been 8 months, but we have, in order for you to move forward, we need to explore other options because they're not approving that registered apprenticeship program here in Louisiana. So, if you had other options, Operation Spark is just the only one that's even been presented to me that may be able to customize this training for you.
Dallas, let me ask you a question. It's Jeannie.
Yes.
You've done some research on Operation Spark?
I have.
It sounds like. What are your pros and cons? Let's lay it out for everybody. What's your pros and cons about that?
Pros, they do have a web development course. They offer that. The cons is Operation Spark is a generalized curriculum. It's not specifically for web development. Second, it's not accessibility focused. I know you were saying that they teach how to program their websites and just program in general accessibly, but like I told you before, checking the boxes of compliance is not the same as making it usable. And Operation Spark, the last thing is they don't have a course that is about accessibility. like from the ground up. That's what they're teaching about is accessibility. And also too, I would imagine that the staff over there they're not experienced in the accessibility field.
Okay.
Hi, Melissa. This is Miguel. I'm Dallas's
Hi.
dad. How you doing?
Hi.
It's a pleasure to meet you all. I had the pleasure to meet
You as
Ginny
well.
yesterday. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you guys are doing to help Dallas. We have countless discussions and arguments even about all these issues and everything that had to go through everything that he's doing. So we know not only him but us as a family. We very welcoming for any conversations with Sparks or with any other company that is going to be able to provide anything that maybe we don't know, because at this point we also making a lot of assumptions of without actually going through the specifics of what the company is going to be able to provide, because who knows, maybe there is somebody there with the ability to change something within their system to accommodate somebody like Dallas with he has a blind disability or and that focus. So we more than happy to talk to anybody that you guys can recommend. At the same time, we understand the Helix opportunity is being just set off the table. The one thing I will beg you, please, get us, be open-minded when it comes to that, because so far this is the one opportunity my son has found. He has worked so hard on trying to find anything else that is comparable, and it seems like this is the one program that can get him where he needs to go, professionally. And it'd be just a shame that this program or this entity is being just scrapped or not being considered as an option without having the proper denial background or the basis of why not. I understand what you said. I'm not familiar with your policies. I don't know what what was everything that entails on when it comes to Louisiana, LRS and all of their policies. But I would love to know where in your policies this company failed, or what is it that was not provided, and just to give us at least
Some peace of mind.
if for anything, to give us the closure. We need everything in writing to say, okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to take that documentation and provide it to Helix and say, hey, this is the reason why we can work with you. Or Louisiana, Rehabilitation Services is not going to be able to help us with this, and just take it from there. That's one aspect of it. That's the only thing that I'm really asking, because whoever can provide us with the best, with anything at all for Dallas, we all out for it. He's very excited and motivated on trying to spearhead anything when it comes to Louisiana too. So when it comes to that,
Yes, I
It's
told you
all
I
exciting.
had that idea before.
Yes.
I even started talking to Cap. I want to do that because accessibility is something I want to improve and expand as much as I can.
If you can't tell, he's passionate about it because
Yes.
of his experience,
yes, he's very passionate about it, and you are in a position to take advantage of this guy.
Exactly.
Okay, to
Yeah.
really do something remarkable when it comes to Louisiana Rehabilitation Services, and having somebody blind with the brain injury that is going to be able to accomplish so much, in a field that it may be impossible to even think of that you can do without being able to see. So regardless of who does that,
Yeah,
so I would really
and-
appreciate that.
Yes, I appreciate your comments. The denial didn't come from my section; it came from the registered apprenticeship section. So I'll have to see what they can provide on that. But I would certainly ask. But I'll let you know. This decision wasn't made lightly. So this particular program does not have documentation. I think they may have documented one person since 2022
Two.
who has actually completed the program. And
There's-
so
There's two of them.
They have completed two. They've had two completions.
Versus two completions versus
And
zero elsewhere. You see the difference? So,
and that was-
Let her talk. Let's see what else.
it's okay.
And
Go
I
ahead,
just
Donna.
wanted to say, and I'm not trying to, I don't, the only reason why I'm trying to promote Operation Spark is because they're the only option that I know of. But I can tell you that we have used, not in this capacity, but we have, we've worked with Operation Spark in our pre-employment transition services program. And I say that to say, let's be honest, a lot of businesses are not disability friendly. It just, it's a sad thing, but it is what it is.
Right.
That's not Operation Spark. They do work with people with disabilities. So I know that they have, the heart is there. And so they have the most technical expertise that I know of. And also they work with people with disabilities. So I know that if anyone's going to be motivated and have the skills to be able to do this that I'm aware of, it would be them. That's the only reason why I keep talking about this particular company.
That's
Absolutely,
awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
And I like hearing that from coming from you. It means a lot.
Yes, it
because
does.
that means that we have something to look forward to too. So
I do want to bring up one. Wait, is that Miss Jeannie?
No, Dallas, this is yours. So you go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Well, something I do want to bring up is the Louisiana Works apprenticeship department denied it, but LRS, that does not mean LRS cannot endorse the apprenticeship just because Louisiana Works did not.
That would be, what's the word I want to use? Unprecedented. Because, like I was trying to explain before, they are the experts in apprenticeship. I'm the expert in vocational rehab. They're the experts in apprenticeship. And so by them denying that program, that means that what they see, and this is their area of expertise, that this is not a program that they want to approve. And so I don't feel like I have the authority. I mean, I don't have the authority to go against
Yeah.
what they're saying,
Of course.
as they're the
Yes.
expert in that particular field.
Okay. First, I want to, regarding Helix Opportunity, I want to throw the word apprenticeship out of the window because it's not the apprenticeship I want. I want two services from Helix Opportunity: the classroom digital accessibility development training and the on-the-job digital accessibility developer for corporations. Also, something that came to my mind yesterday with Miss Jeannie is states before that have worked with Helix Opportunity. I know the 3-month policy is something with LRS. You can break it down in the 3-month increments if that's something that's holding LRS back. You can do that. Of course, you would have to discuss it with Mr. David Fazio, but that is something you can do.
I think that was on the table. Wasn't that on the table?
Credentials. Yes. I remember Kimberly actually over email discussed it with Mr. David and talked about doing the apprenticeship for 3 months. Also, Helix Opportunity is not strictly an education institution. Helix Opportunity is about, like my goal, expanding and improving accessibility. Helix Opportunity has done work in India and Ireland and they are currently doing work somewhere else in the world that I don't want to disclose the location because I'm not allowed to. But they are doing work aside from their educational service.
So their educational training.
6 months, I believe.
Do you get a credential from that? Is it accredited by the U.S. Department of Education?
It's accredited by the U.S. the Federal Department of Labor, and it's also accredited by the University of California, San Francisco. I know it's registered in Nevada. I don't know if any universities over there it's partnered with, but
I think that's still apprenticeship because the Department of Education. The Department of Labor. I don't think, and I can make sure, but like I don't think they accredit programs, training programs. But I can definitely look into that.
'Cause this is classroom.
okay.
So you
Right,
have to
but I
look.
think the registered apprenticeship program, because I know you're mentioning California and Nevada. I think there's there's two components to apprenticeship. There's there's a training piece, and then there's
The classroom training.
And then there's the on-the-job training piece. I think they're considered two different pieces, if I understand. So I still think that's a training curriculum that's approved by an apprenticeship. So like other training programs that LRS pays for are going to be degree programs. They're going to give you some type of recognized industry-based credential,
Yes.
or some type of
Can I pause you there? The
Sure.
accreditations offered that Helix Opportunity provides the training for, they are nationally recognized, or I could say internationally, but nationally recognized, and you can go anywhere in the country and do their work, the digital accessibility developer work, anywhere.
I'll have to do some research on that. I'm not.
Dallas, do you have that research that you can provide to her?
Probably do.
Probably somewhere in my computer.
Can you provide that for Melissa?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she wants the information, and if you've already put your hands on it, that's going to save her a lot of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But not only that, too,
But I mean,
that
if you could go in and take the two courses, or the two things that you said that you need with that, are you going to walk out with something, a stamp of approval, a piece of paper in your hand,
WAS,
something
not
that
WAS.
validates that you did what was required? You checked your boxes, and so to speak, that you've done what you needed to do in order to get what you need to go forward.
Yes. I won't be able to take the Web Accessibility Specialist course exam yet, because like I told you, they don't allow you to take that test until you have 2 to 3 years experience in the field. But yes, and that is part of their training, is preparing you for the WAS exam.
Do you get a certification for HTML or CSS or anything
Yes,
like that?
of
Okay,
course.
so there's multiple certifications he would receive. He would get a certified in HTML, CSS, and WCAG. Would you get JavaScript, and would you get anything for the WCAG
I don't think
training?
they make WCAG
Okay.
certifications, but
Okay.
that is
Yeah, so he would be receiving certifications in the coding aspect, the HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. That would give him some type of not license, but a
Now-
certification.
They also train me how to audit. Of course, with the code, you need to know the code in order to do a deep audit. And I don't know if they have certifications for that, but they do train you how to audit
Yeah,
in
it's
depth.
Trusted Tester's a certification.
Oh yes, that's
too.
true. That's
so, yeah,
true.
So you
That's
get
true.
it certified
The
in
DHS Trusted Tester.
That would be prior to the on-the-job training even. So
Yes.
then he would start actually doing those things at the on-the-job part. But yes, so he would walk out with several certifications. So-
so you can't get those certifications from another training provider?
No,
I'm asking.
no, and that's because their programs are not accessible for blind individuals to train. As a matter of fact, with the research we looked at, they will specify it and tell you, okay, so like let's say, give me an example, like Scrimba, right? I think we looked at Scrimba. Scrimba is one of them that we looked at as an option. Said, okay, so could he complete the Scrimba program
Wait,
to learn
let me explain this 'cause
coding?
it's hard to explain.
Okay. He wants to
Scrimba is video based, and I don't think it's easy to understand in the cited context. But you can just scroll your mouse over to the play, pause, fast forward button, and everything. I have to use the keyboard only to locate those buttons and form fields, and video players are not friendly with screen readers. That's why Scrimba isn't a good.
So he couldn't use
fit.
that program. So that one was out. Then you have Quorum, and Quorum, in order to complete certain portions of the Quorum training, he would have to have. They specifically say you have to have a sighted person standing next to you, and no, they do not have instructors. So you would have to have somebody in your home or a friend or somebody come and help you to complete the program. So that's why it's just so. This is so crazy because it's so
Unique.
unprecedented and unique, yeah, in a very unique situation.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
not because the training's not out there. It is out there. It's just not accessible for Dallas.
Yes, and something you noted earlier, Miss Melissa, is accessibility isn't so recognized. It's not appreciated, and just people with disabilities are not appreciated because we can do more than the misconceptions that are put on us.
Obviously.
But that's where it
Yeah.
comes.
Yeah, some of the smartest vocational rehab directors that I know are completely blind. Like you don't have to sell me at all. And in fact, as we were talking, I was like, I should have had. Have you spoken to Kevin Monk before? He's our director of blind services, so he uses JAWS. Obviously, so he might have been good to have in this conversation of things that I don't completely understand. So I'm just trying to figure out where we go from here. The secretary made, Jeannie, and you were in our meeting, I think the secretary made pretty clear that Helix would not be approved.
Right.
She did. I'm sure she did. I was on the phone call with David and her, and it was pretty heated. It got pretty heated, but I mean, we don't need to and I understand. I mean, I'm a taxpayer. I don't want my tax dollars going to some scam either, right? But the more we dig into this program, the more legit and the more of an expert we can see that this man is and everything. He is disabled as well. So I think some of it came across because of his own experience with vocational rehabilitation services, and he's made it a very successful. I'm not here to plead a case for him. Same for Dallas, right? But the fact that this corporation or company, whatever you want to call it, was developed for disabled people. That is their goal, is to train disabled people to become professionals at this level is unprecedented. And while I know that, because Susanna even told us, she said that if Dallas could, because her and David were just, and Susanna told Dallas, like, if Dallas could prove that there's a need for this type of job out there, like if there's all these job applications for this type of career, that she would consider it. And so Dallas and I started printing, like I printed probably 50 jobs right here. And again, the difference is, like you said, Dallas is blind. This is for people, this is for anybody, and believe it or not, Melissa, a lot of them are out of Washington, D.C. or for the military and government. So it's like, it is definitely a growing field, and it's growing rapidly. So it's just the fact that not only does Dallas have, y'all all know this is what you do for a living, the fact that disabled people, they don't get the same fair shake. But when you have someone that it's that highly trained, that speaks to everything. So.
And Melissa, I would like to add something else.
Sure.
And I know it sounds like we keep going, helix.
We don't care, honestly.
We really don't care who the company is or whatever it is. The one thing that will bother me and will bother anybody in my position as a parent is that the only information to make that decision was based on a phone call where two parties were just not in agreement, or it got heated, for what I understand. Things were said that shouldn't have, it was spoken with feelings rather
Right.
than facts, and rather than being conscientious about, try to find a way to everybody reconcile what is needed, and that's the one thing that personally it bothers me, because my son could have, maybe we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now if that conversation would have been held professionally, right? And if it would have been in a different situation where somebody didn't get offended or somebody didn't make a decision based on something like that, right? And that's the reason, the only reason why I'm asking, please.
And I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I honestly have no idea what
Me
the
either.
decision was. The only caveat, the only difference that I just want to point out, she did have some facts going into that meeting, and honestly, she shared that it was contentious, but it was a short meeting that I had with her. She did not give any detail, so y'all know better than I do what was said what was said in that particular meeting. But there is, when you are a registered apprenticeship, there are things that you have to report, and so that information that she brought into that meeting, she did bring the facts that were presented to her, which was the one completer, and even if it was two completers from 2022 to 2026 is not very good. And what we're missing and we'll never get is, it would be interesting to know those people who completed, what their experience was,
Right.
what their disability was. Y'all might have that information. I do not.
Yeah.
There's no way for me to get that information.
No, that's only fair, and I was just trying to make that. I was just trying to make the point, right? Of this is based, to me. This is the way I'm looking at things,
But the door's shut
right?
now.
The door was shut just based on emotions, based on the information that I received. Of course, you know what? We have an excellent recorder. Is this guy over here? You see him? He cannot take notes. He's not able to take notes when he's having a conversation. He's not looking down, writing down with a pencil on anything. There's nothing he can go back to other than his own brain. So when he provided me with the information, between him and my wife, they provided me with the information, I even told them, well, she's right. She's requesting the right information, right? And I told them, based on everything that was shared to me, I told them they both were correct. They were both wrong at the same time on their reaction, right? So that's the only thing that I'm like, oh, please, somebody bring some kind of common sense to that.
And for the completion statistic you were just referring to, I don't think that's a fair statistic to use as reasoning why not to endorse it, is because Helix Opportunity is for people with disabilities. So the program is for people with disabilities, and as evident from my case, it's not easy for us to get into those programs. So I think that is why the small number is the way it is.
How many disabled web developers?
And that's
do
true
you
too.
think there
How many
are?
how many disabled web developers are there?
Yeah, just it's not that many. So it's not like there's people knocking on the door to get into his program, right? Because it's very, very small. That community's small.
Yeah, for California, it just seems very, very low for me. But honestly, and this is the God's honest truth, I didn't make the decision.
Yeah, we know, for sure.
And I'm not. Susie, like, I don't know the fact that she got, and like I said, I wasn't there.
We
But
know.
she's typically a very polished, very professional person, very in tune with her emotions. So the fact that she lost, it sounds like it got contentious. It's concerning to me.
Yes, I called her to apologize to her for the way I acted, for the way Mr. David acted, and then she told me no, I apologize, because she even admitted that she was contentious as
Well,
well
and I
during the
think-
meeting.
It was not a good.
No, it just
It was not a productive conversation.
God, I wish
Exactly,
that conversation
exactly.
never
I
happened.
know that's what I've said. That's what I've said over and over and over.
But you guys, not you, LA Works had denied it prior to that anyway. And so that is what we need to find out. Like, what is it? What regulations are they not
That's true,
fulfilling?
yes.
And other than the job, because like I said, in the same conversation, I think Susanna kind of steered it away from David and directed it at Dallas and said, Dallas, provide me with some proof that the job opportunities are out there for you if you complete this program. And Dallas said, yes, I will. But
I just got 3, but then I
And
came
then we
home
got-
and I got what, 8 more, 10
like,
more.
We got like 10 or 11 right off the bat. And so it's like at that point, I don't know, and then I know Jeannie went into a meeting with you guys after that. We weren't part of that meeting. So I don't know. We still don't know why they're saying. Now, like you said, they like to verify if you have such a low completion rate, verify the employment, or is that something that's done on a regular basis? You guys call employers to find out? Like, I mean, that's what she was asking him for. And that's why I'm like, and he, he told her no, because these people work for, it's accessibility. There's non-disclosure agreements involved because it's all with, lawsuits and all kinds of stuff.
I'm not familiar with that particular program. I can tell you now, it's not published anywhere, but we do have to provide wage records. So for our program, we have to show how many people were successful in our program each year. And how many, actually our particular indicators are that the person is employed the second quarter and the fourth quarter after exit. Because they want to see that not only did they get a job, they kept a job. And so we do have to provide those wage records and that the information on the person's employment and employer to the federal government. Now, they don't go and publish employers anywhere, but we do absolutely have to provide that information. And so, did he indicate that he has helped more than 2 people? And
Yes,
also,
that's what I was about to say next. For the blind clients too, I think he said this about the blind clients and other clients as well. I guess the 2 clients that are publicly available, or I don't know if you would call Rapids publicly available, but the 2 clients the people beyond the 2 clients that are not available to the Rapids system, they came through Helix through rehabilitation services, and Helix doesn't get their post program employment outcomes. The rehabilitation services gets that, and they know what their clients do. Helix doesn't get that information.
So let me ask you, so does Helix, because typically with on-the-job training and with apprenticeship, I think Helix is called an intermediary, and typically the programs that and it's been very few, but the programs that I know that we've done with apprenticeship, you're actually working with the employer that you are going to be working with. I don't know why this name comes to my head first, but like Dow Chemical. I know Dow Chemical has apprenticeships, but you apply to Dow for those apprenticeships, and then when you're done, you have a job at Dow. And so that's also, like this particular program, I don't think he had an employer identified who would, like, we don't know where you're going to work once you're done with the apprenticeship. And apprenticeship, typically you're hired by the employer that you're doing the apprenticeship with. Does that make sense?
Yes, and during the apprenticeship, if you want to call it that, or on the job training, you are hired by Helix Opportunity. That is who you are working for. They have the intermediary relationship with the corporations, and some of the big corporations they have worked with: Wells Fargo, YouTube, Ford, Verizon. They have worked with those corporations
United States Air
before,
Force.
and and they also work for the United States Air Force. And the corporation pays them, and then they pay their clients. So that's the intermediary relationship right there. And that along with that relationship, there is a non-disclosure agreement with those corporations. They can't release the information that Helix has the contract with to have those intermediary relationships with.
I'm just curious, do you know why, or have any, I hate to say speculate why that is? I mean, I've heard of NDAs, but I don't know why you'd have an NDA.
I think it's some kind of federal legal thing or whatever.
It's because of the, I guess, a lot of the sizes of the companies he's working for, and
Yeah.
because
That's true.
accessibility.
The companies don't want anyone, previous clients, to disclose their information. They don't want their information to go public and everything like that. I did read something about that.
So I work for a big company myself.
An extreme.
It's a big company I work for. NDAs is something that nobody will ever know.
Okay.
In the job, like I have had managers telling me, yeah, but he has an NDA. I'm like, for what? For what? Because nowadays is so many things qualify for that. I will never find out. I would never know. No, nobody will ever know. If I ever find out and I happen to make the wrong comment in that office, that's it. It will be so many heads that will come down because they need to find out where that information came from, and they will find out. So is very strict.
That's like
when
I
it
was
comes to
saying
that.
with the clients disclosing information for the companies that they worked for during the apprenticeship.
And I know Susanna did not like that. She didn't understand why, because
She
and we
thought
don't
there
know.
were no NDAs. She was saying there were no NDAs.
And so that's honestly, when you're talking about employers and things like that, Susie has a lot more experience and expertise than I do, because I mean, she, before being with Louisiana, the Secretary of Louisiana Works, she actually worked for the Louisiana Economic Development. And as you know, she works for the governor. I mean, she's involved with some of these really large corporations, so she's a better expert in that than I am. So at this point, would you entertain a discussion with Operation Spark? Because you speak IT, they speak IT, I do not.
Yes.
So maybe if y'all talk together, then they may say, no, we can't provide you what you're asking for, or maybe they will. And one thing I think that is, for the lack of a better word, appealing about this particular company for us is that we know that they have connections to get you employment with Louisiana employers. And so that's obviously our end game, obviously, for you. And obviously I know this is what you're here for, is so that you can find work, and work that you want, and work that, that's going to fulfill you. So is that a possibility to have that discussion, just to see if maybe they might knock your socks off like Mr. Fonso did? I have no idea.
Definitely.
Yes, of course.
Definitely.
Of course.
You know what? You never know, because if they are the type of company that goes out and source any kind of products or any kind of things, they might end up hiring Helix to give Dallas what he needs. And
Wouldn't that be funny?
You just will have to pay.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
So because if that is the only the only available training
how
for
does
that,
work?
That's what I was thinking too.
That will be awesome. Let's talk to Sparks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Is the LRS can use the I don't know what the term was or whatever, but the third party that I can be with them, and then I don't know how it is. What you like a university? The university has connection with Helix,
Intermediary,
and then
you mean?
intermediary, I guess. Yes, and LRS I can do that, and I think has done that.
As a matter of fact, yes. What was that other? There is a foundation in Louisiana that uses Helix Opportunity. What was it called? That LRS pays for. What was it called?
Look in your notes, Nemo.
Yeah, I pulled it
I
up.
didn't write it down.
Something. It's another.
You wrote it down on your brain.
It's another
Maybe it's someone with an
organization.
O.
It's a vocational rehab service that you guys pay for, and they use Helix Opportunity.
yeah.
I'll have to look it up. And we were like, "Whoa! Oh my God! Look at that!" So
Let's talk to Spike.
Yeah, I mean,
And look, Tracy, find that information and send it to Melissa
Okay.
about who's utilizing Helix. Melissa, could that be entertained? If Helix is already working with a provider or a vendor that y'all have, and he would go through that vendor to get just the information that he would need, is that conceivable?
I mean,
All you have to do is approve Sparks, right?
Well, no, we're talking about the organization that Mom
Okay.
found.
yeah, I mean, I don't know what this organization is. Like, if that organization is accredited or approved by the Board of Regents and they're providing their training through an accredited program, it's hard for me to articulate when I don't know what.
I'll find it and send it to you because I was shocked when I saw that. I'm like, wait a minute,
Gosh.
through Louisiana,
wrote
Dallas,
that
they're
down.
already using Helix, which I thought was crazy, and it is a vocational rehabilitation program.
I put my email in the chat because Dallas, I feel like when you email me, well, sometimes I get it and sometimes other people get it to me. So I just wanted to, and we've changed email addresses at one point.
Oh,
And so I put my email in the chat. It's real easy. It's melissa.bayham@la.gov. Just to make sure you have the correct email.
okay. Thank you.
I'll see if I can find it.
Okay, well, if y'all can provide
Melissa,
me.
what could be a timeline for them to meet with Spark? Do you need to get with them, or do you kind of have
Yes.
tentative? Okay.
I mean, I'd have to ask them. It didn't take too long for us to get a meeting with them, so I can definitely ask.
Okay. Yeah, I have tried to contact them to ask about their IDEs, and they're both the phone numbers for their two locations in New Orleans on Franklin Street and Jefferson. Was it Jefferson? I don't know. The two streets they're on. One of them was Franklin. It went straight to voicemail and said, "What's the best way to contact you?" And I gave them my phone number, and I didn't receive a call back. But hey, y'all,
Let
you
them know
got
that. Yep,
you-
I will let them know that.
okay.
Okay, in the meantime, if y'all want to send me whatever information that y'all have, I'll be happy to look at that.
All right. Thank
I'll
you.
have to find it. I'll have to find it. I know we have it somewhere, and I sent it to Dallas. So,
Okay.
oh, I think it's based out of Lafayette. Oh, look, one of them's called the Quad.
Quad.
I don't know.
What?
Let me see,
The
but that's not the
Quad.
one we found. That's not the one we
Yeah.
found. So I'll have to
'Cause
see.
the quad's not a training. Gabe, isn't the quad is a CRP, isn't it? That provides like rehabilitation and things like that.
Honestly, I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we had discussed.
That's all right. Well, I'll find it. I know we saw it, and we were pretty surprised at it. You know that it was in there.
Oh, I think
Opportunity something, right?
maybe.
Is there one called?
Opportunity now, opportunity
That's
next.
it. Opportunity now. I think that may be it.
No.
I think that's it. Let me see. Yep.
I email with the owner of Opportunity Next on a consistent basis, so
Opportunity Next?
I can.
Oh, maybe it is
ask him.
next. It could be next or now, but I'll find it.
They have the same owner.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if they have a program, because I know they have a lot of different corporations with them, or whatever you call it, subsidiaries.
So, I mean, would that at least help, if, just, you know, humor me, would that at least help us make our case if we find something like that?
Opportunity Now is not a training provider.
Okay.
So they don't provide educational training. They provide pre-employment transition services, which are like job readiness skills, self-advocacy, things like that for students with disabilities. And they provide basically all the job placement programs for us. But
No, it's not that.
I
It
mean-
told me no, it's not that. So
yeah, I wouldn't think so.
I'll find it. I found it and I was shocked. So I'm sure I sent it to
Okay.
Dallas and I'll look it up.
Okay.
We'll figure
Okay.
it out. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Well, thank you all for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. It's very nice meeting y'all in person as much as you can in person.
Yeah.
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 Right, and
It's
then
just a phone call though.
just let us know, or let Dallas know, not us. I love to say we and us,
Yeah.
and you know, I'm a Saints player. I'm an LSU football player. Like we, right?
No, it's all,
Yeah.
when it comes to our son, it's always going to be us.
That's true.
I understand. I have children. One's 23, and I just consider myself part of everything she does.
Yeah,
Of course.
This is how it goes.
that's correct. That's the way it goes.
Well, thank
All
you. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all's
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Dallas, I gotta find this.
It's a-
What was
okay.
it? You need to help me
Anymore.
find it.
Thank you. Oh yeah, what was the thing that Melissa asked me to send her?
The information.
Oh, about the
courses.
credentials. Yes,
yeah,
the
the credentials.
What did I look up? And I was like, I looked up something about Louisiana. It had nothing to do with Helix. Nothing.